with the aim of determining the load flow size, with the aim of determining the power flows in all the transmission lines. The list of generalized steps are: number one is determine the Vibers of the system. So whatever the system which has been given for you, determine the Vibers of the system. That is the first step for doing the load flow study. The second thing is identifying the types of buses and rearrange the data accordingly. Second step is there will be total different number of buses, there will be large number of buses which will be given for you. And in each bus, different variables will be available for you. So your job is to identify the type of bus if it is not mentioned. And next is you are supposed to note down the variables which are standard for you and ignore the variables which are not standard for you. That is the most important step here. Large amount of data will be available for you, but we are supposed to consider only the standard data and ignore other data. That is the most important thing which you are supposed to do. Third step is use flat voltage profile. Use flat voltage profile. It is nothing but starting with some value. In numerical methods, you will be doing this, starting with some value, right? This step is considered to be as starting with the flat voltage profile. In the flat voltage profile, we will be taking all magnitudes of all the buses as 1 per unit, and the load angles are 0 per unit. Okay. Apply any numerical method to determine the voltage at all. We'll start with some basic value, and we'll apply any of the numerical methods, whether it is Gauss method or Gauss-Seidel method, Newton-Raphson method, decoupled method. You apply any of the numerical method to determine the voltage at all the buses. Once you do have the voltage at all the buses, compute power flows or power injections, whatever you call it as. If it is a bus, we call it as an injection. If it is a transmission line, we call it as power flows. So compute the power flows in transmission lines or the bus injections at all the buses. Once it is done, compute the losses, and finally, the efficiency of the system. Compute the losses, and finally, efficiency of the system. These are the common steps which you find in any of the load flow problems. First of all, we'll determine the Vibers of the system. And second one is identifying the types of buses and rearrange the data accordingly, which means that you are supposed to consider only standard data and you are supposed to ignore the other data. So now you might get it out. So what do you mean by standard data? They may mention you at some bus that it is a PD bus. At PD bus, they will be mentioning all the values to confuse you. Because any bus is generally characterized by 4 variables, PQ, mod, V, and delta. And they will be giving you all the data. But out of all the data we have seen in the last class, only 2 will be considered to be a standard one at PD bus. What are those 2? P and mod. If it is a load bus, which are considered as standard? P and Q. If it is a slack bus, mod, V, and delta. So it is our job to identify what are the standard variables and to ignore the non-standard variables. That is our step number 2. And step number 3 is about starting at somewhere else. So I am employing this flat voltage profile. This is commonly employed in power systems where we do start with the magnitude set 1 per unit and angle set 0 per unit. Because our final target is determining the voltage at all the buses. Once we determine the voltage at all the buses, we can compute the power flows in the transmission line and the power injections at the bus. Once power flows are computed, we can know the losses and finally we can evaluate the efficiency of the system. So if we complete all these things, then automatically our job will be done. Now, at your UG level, this job is already completed for you. We have been discussing in the last 3 classes. This job we will discuss now. This is a very simple step. No need to worry about this one. Now, this is a math system. Your UG level is limited to determining the voltage at all the buses by employing numerical methods. Application of engineering mathematics to your power systems. That is why numerical methods have been taught to you in your engineering mathematics. Now we will try to determine the voltage at all the buses. We will see how difficult the problems are. Have you noted these now? Shall I write them?
Yes, sir.
Right. See, beta, first step, determine the Y bus of the system. And most of the times, we do employ direct inspection method. But direct inspection method is not suitable for complex problems. Once again, I am repeating, direct inspection method is not suitable for complex problems. And particularly, I will mention here, for those who are going for the competitive examination, in interviews they will be asking, why direct inspection method? In which cases direct inspection method cannot be employed? Direct inspection method cannot be employed when you do have mutual admittances or what you call it as mutual coupling between the elements. Let us suppose if your transmission lines have mutual coupling between them, then it is difficult to apply the direct inspection method for computing wires. All of you, those who are going for the competitive examinations, note down this point. The biggest limitation of direct inspection method is when you find mutual coupling between the elements. Okay. So at our UG level, I will be asking you problems which don't have mutual coupling. So you can employ directly direct inspection method. But if you are going for your MTech or your PhD or your IAS examination, then you are supposed to remember, this is not the way for determining the Y bus matrix. Direct inspection method does not hold good. Then you may ask me, sir, what the method will be used? There are separate methods better for computing Y bus. Manually, even I stopped also doing those problems. I directly employ the algorithm which I do have for computing the Y bus. It is a very tough task. I'll be teaching you these things when mutual couplings are there. If you choose the subject computer methods in power systems in your next semester. But right now at your ESOC, direct inspection method is enough for you. So now, before going into deeper, let us have a small look about let us have a deeper look. So as already said, in the step number 4, in step number 4, what did I say? You are supposed to determine voltage at all the buses. voltage at all the buses using any numerical method, isn't it? Voltage at all the buses using numerical method. So before going into numerical method, let's see what are the basic equations which are generally employed in I think you know about these power equations. How many of you are good at power systems too? Now let's have a look at power systems too. We will first of all compute the power equation. Now let us suppose I am considering, it is a quick review of your PS2 beta. I am not teaching anything new. Considering an n bus network, n bus number I, n bus number I. I'll take that voltage is VI and the current is II and active power is PI and reactive power is I'll assume this. Okay. Now, as already I told you in our last class, what is I bus beta? I bus is nothing but Y bus into V bus, isn't it? It will be of this format. I1, I2, I2. I'll take a small 3 bus. Is the screen visible to you? Is the screen visible to you? Or is it becoming light? Is my voice audible to you? I think? Now, if I take I1, what is I1 now? Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 plus Y13 V3. So can I write it as II is equal to sigma j is equal to 1 to n Yij I Yij, because this value is varying now. This value is constant if you carefully see. Whatever value which I do have, this value is constant. But this value is varying. First time 1, next time 2, next time 3. So j is equal to 1 to n, j and k. So this is the simplest way of how to determine the current at any bus. Current in any bus, II is equal to sigma j is equal to 1 to n Yij V. Do you agree with this? Is my voice audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. So a quick review of PS2 once again about the voltage and current at any of the buses. So at bus I, current II is given as sigma j is equal to 1 to n Yij V. Fine, done. Now, how to determine the P and Q? We know that the complex power is equal to VI into II conjugate. Do you remember this formula? Complex power is equal to VI conjugate. So at ith bus, S is equal to V into I conjugate. Now, I am trying to apply conjugate on both sides. So this is Pi minus JQI, which is VI conjugate. Here I do have II, sigma j is equal to 1 to n Yij. This is VI conjugate Sigma, I'll write it outside, Yij. This is Pi minus Jq. Now you do remember, voltage and admittances are all complex values, isn't it? Sigma j is equal to 1 to n, mod Vi, mod Yij, mod Vj. What is the angle of this one? For this one, since there is a conjugate, for voltage, it will be delta. For this one, it will be theta. For this one, it will be again delta. So this is the form. Now separating these two formulas, Pi is equal to, I am considering only the real part. Sigma j is equal to 1 to n, mod Vi, mod Vj, mod Yij. It is cos of theta ij plus delta j minus delta. I will just rearrange it. And it is minus Qi. Sigma j is equal to 1 to n, mod Vi, mod Vj, mod Yij. It is sin theta ij plus delta j minus delta. These two are called as the load flow equations. Do you remember these things? They may be asked for 2 marks derivations in your end examination. These two are called as load flow equations. The active part at Pi indicates these two indicate the power injections at any bus. In this case, at bus I. This is active power injection, this is reactive power injection. These are the formulas. I have just considered the current equation. Consider the complex power equation. I am trying to solve. So these are my load flow equations. Determine the power, real power. Sorry. Determine the active power or reactive power, which is bus I. Remember these things. Once it is done, now we will move ahead. Shall I read this one? These are the basic things which we are recollecting from our PhD for this term. Power injection at any cost. Shall I read it again? Have you noted down these equations? These are very important for us in solving our load flow, entire load flow. Shall I read?
Yes, sir.
Now we go with the first method. There are 4 methods which are there in your syllabus. In our 4th step, I employed that you are supposed to choose any numerical method. There are 4 numerical methods which are there in the syllabus. I'm penning down here. So the one is Gauss-Seidel method, Newton-Raphson method. In this, we do have polar and rectangular. And an advanced one, decoupled method, and a more advanced one, decoupled, fast decoupled. These are all different types of Newton-Raphson method. Gauss-Seidel method, Newton-Raphson method, polar, rectangular, decoupled, and fast decoupled method. Okay. So all these methods are there for your UG level. So we'll start with the GS method, which is the most easiest method. Now, we will rely only upon one simple equation in this Gauss-Seidel method. And that equation is I'm not going to derive these things because I'll be providing you directly the notes regarding the derivation of this equation. You remember this particular equation, you note down this particular equation. Vi k plus 1 is equal to, this is k indicates the iteration. If I am going with the next iteration, so the whole next iteration, for any bus, I am supposed to employ the voltage of the previous equation. 1 by yi, Ei minus jqi, Vi conjugate minus sigma j is equal to 1 to n, j is not equal to I, y, I, j. This formula you are supposed to remember at any cost. I am not going to design, I will directly provide the notes. It is unnecessary, it takes a lot of time. Just note down this formula. Have you noted it down? Note చేస్తున్నారా? Yes. So, how many of you are with me to solve the problem? With your camera. It will take nearly 2 hours. I'll do it for 15 minutes today. And in the next class, we will complete the remaining. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, right. So, do you remember this formula? The problem is a very lengthy one. You need to have a lot of patience. You check down the algorithm. So rather than going with the algorithm, flowchart, etc., 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 first of all, let us do the problem. We will learn from the problem what are the differences. We will leave the conventional method of learning all the theory and again going with the problem. We will do the problem and then we will go with the theory. Okay. So there is a problem which is given for a three-bus system. For a three-bus system, line data is given as 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 1 to 3, j 0.2, j 0.3, and j 0.4. Okay. J 0.2, 0.3, and j 0.4. These are the admittances. I'm directly giving the admittance. And he has also mentioned that the bus data is bus number 1, 2, and 3. P, Q, he has directly mentioned the injections. So this is the data which has been mentioned first. And they have asked us determine the voltage At the end of first iteration, using GS method, Gauss-Seidel method, using Gauss-Seidel method. So this is the problem which has been given to us. Now, this is the line data. This is the bus data. Have you noted down? Done? Shall we go ahead? Sorry. Step number 1. What is step number 1? If possible, you can draw the circuit. This is 1, 2, and 3. Bus number 1, 2, and 3. Bus number 1 and 2, I do have J0.2. 2 to 3, J0.3, and 1 to 3, J0.4. This is the figure. And what is Y bus? Can somebody tell me what is Y bus first thing? What is Y bus? What is Y11? Anybody doing the problem? What is Y11?
0.6 J.
0.6? Yes. And the Y12? Minus J.2. Yes. Y13, it is minus J.4. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. So it is J0.5, it is J0.7, and it is minus J0.4. Sorry. Am I clear?
Yes.
Right. This is in polar format. So this is in rectangular format. So I'll convert it into polar format also. 0.6 at an angle of 90 degrees. This is 0.2 at an angle of minus 90 degrees. 0.4 at an angle of minus 90 degrees. 0.2 at an angle of minus 90. 0.4 at an angle of minus 90. And 0.5 at an angle of 90. 0.7 at an angle of 90. And 0.3 at an angle of minus 90. And 0.3 at an angle of minus. This is the Y bus matrix.
నువ్వేం పోతలేవా?
Once this Y bus is complete. Now what is step number 2? Step number 2 is about consolidating the bus data. How many buses have been given to us? 3 buses. I'll write down here bus number, PI, QI, mod VI, delta I, and Vmax. 3 buses have been given for us. 1, 2, and 3. What is bus number 1? It is the slack bus. Bus number 2 is PD bus, bus 3 bus. If it is a slack bus, what are the standard variables for a slack bus? are the standard variables for a slack bus? We have discussed in the last class, is it?
Mod V and this. This.
Mod V and I, whatever the values which are given for us, I am going to write down. The rest I am not going to employ the values, whatever the values which are given by the user. Next is PV. For a PV bus, which is also a generator bus, what are the standard ones? P and mod. P and mod. See, they are 0.2 and 1.0. I will ignore these. And next is step number 3. Sorry, bus number 3. What is bus number 3? Bus number 3 is PQ bus. So, since it is a PQ bus, what are the standard values? 0.1 and 0.3. These are all question marks. These are all the question marks which we do have. These load flow problem gets completed if we determine all these values perfectly. But these values can be determined only at the end of the problem. I have told you in the first class, slack bus P and Q can be determined only at the last step when we determine the losses of the system. And our step is computing remaining 4 values now. What we are being asked? Voltage at the end of first iteration. So we'll compute these values in the next class. I think the time is up for today. We'll compute these values in the next class at the end of first iteration. And we'll move on. And before going further, let me complete the step number 3 also. I'll write down here step number 3. Step number 3 is you are supposed to start somewhere as a numerical. So step number 3 is about flat voltage profile, is it? So before going with the iterations, when you are at iteration number 0, which means you are at the start of the problem, whatever the unknown voltage magnitudes you do have, you can treat them as 1 per unit. Unknown angles, you can use them as 0. That is what is flat voltage profile. Very simple. So now I am at the start of the problem. I do have one known voltage magnitude. The other one I don't know. So I am considering it as 1 per unit. And the 2 angles I don't know. So delta 2 and delta 3 I am considering it as 0 per unit. This is the simple flat voltage. Unknown voltage magnitude and angle, they are treated as 1 and 0 per unit respectively. This is step number 3. Step number 3 is also done. Now, step number 4. It is about computing the voltage. Don't forget, this is an 8-mark problem for your examination, 10th semester examination. So I hope you are concentrating on what I am doing. Step number 4 is about computing the voltage at the end of first iteration. Only one iteration I am asking. See now. So how many voltages I am supposed to compute? This one. But how many equations I have given for you for computation of voltage? I have mentioned only one equation for you, isn't it? Vi k plus 1. In this only magnitude will come, in this only angle will come. So how it works on, we'll discuss in our next class. So as of now, I'm stopping the session. So I hope on Monday I'll complete this problem. And regarding the derivations of this Gauss-Seidel method,